The lesson we must learn is simply that collectively we have to fundamentally transform the system currently in place for emergency response. The current drought and famine is partly the consequence of unmitigated impacts of climate change in our midst. Adaptation to climate change, therefore, needs to be a central theme in all future strategies and actions. The Nairobi strategy, therefore, calls for meaningful investments in climate-proof infrastructure and more integrated approaches to land and water resources. Further, assistance must be anchored in clear country programs. We must guard against fragmented interventions that characterize the past if we are to achieve the unity of purpose that is so crucial. The question of peace, security, and sustainable development in Somalia requires our attention. It was recognized that Somalia is the epicenter of the crisis. The Nairobi strategy is clear that the stabilization of Somalia is definitive, not just for Somalia itself, but certainly for the wider Horn of Africa region and for the global community at large. It is our considered view that such stabilization be prioritized through concrete actions that include A, sustaining the military gains and ensuring the UN presence, UN peacekeeping forces provide the nexus for training of the TFG forces. B, political stability and good governance, and above all, C, winning the battle in the minds and souls of our dear Somali brothers and sisters. The Somali crisis will not go away by itself. It has to be confronted. Excellencies, in taking all the aforementioned measures, a greater sense of accountability and transparency is required, especially with respect to the flow of financial resources, both at the national and international levels. For this reason, the Nairobi strategy supports the request by the TFG for the establishment of a joint financial management board. This is expected to bring prudence and improved public financial management in Somalia. The Nairobi strategy would never be worth the paper on which it is written if commitments will not be followed through to implementation. To this end, you've agreed that the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, be strengthened as a major coordinating vehicle for the regional programs. We do expect that both multilateral and bilateral agencies will engage with IGAD and the respective countries in order to agree on priority projects and programs to be immediately implemented under the Nairobi strategy. In this respect, we further agreed to A, the establishment of a multi-donor trust fund that would be overseen by a steering committee. B, the development of a regional disaster resilience and sustainability strategy. And lastly, C, the strengthening of IGAD's climate predictions and applications center, among other measures. The government of Kenya, and indeed the Horn of Africa countries, appeal to all of us here to endorse the Nairobi strategy. We believe that this strategy will harmonize all our efforts, policies, and programs for the sake of the future stability of the Horn of Africa and for the sake of all humanity. Kenya is hosting right now over 500,000 people within a refugee camp, the biggest refugee camp in the world. It is a major pressure on major resources that we have in our own country. The call now is, as we fight the fire, we must ensure that we don't have to extinguish fires in the future. The time for action is now. in order to save humanity in this area. We are victims of climate change. We are not the cause of it. We need to be assisted in order to deal with the effect of climate change.
There you go. Thank you very much.